hopefully get the front finished up today, and then we can look at doing the rears. I can't wait to get the front end done. It just feels like a big headache. So many intricate parts there, so yeah, it'll be nice to call it a day. But yeah, let's carry on. So here's something that I touched on previously. So this is the old tie rod, and well, basically the entire arm that comes off from the steering rack. So I need to take this plastic part off soon, and this is a new one. Now the reason why I've got these two out and gotten them next to each other is because I'm going to measure this one to be the same as this one, and that way it's going to limit the amount of mix up the car's going to have in their alignment, which should hopefully make life a little bit easier to get in the car over to getting it aligned. So first up, take this one out. Oh wait, looking all shiny. We need to take this off. You know what, by pulling it down like that, that's more than enough that I need from it. So what I'm gonna do very quickly is measure the distance from here. I'll move this out of the way. So it looks like it's exactly 41 centimeters. So I got to prepare this one to join that. Wow, this is so tight. This has so much easy play with it, and this is rock hard. I can't move that at all. So that's another good way of seeing that this is a good upgrade for the car. It's got to be a little bit more. Gotta keep going. Now that looks to be right. Bring this down and over. I'm gonna copper grease all of this actually. You're all in for a treat on my new, my copper grease brush is quite a special one. It's an old toothpaste, or toothbrush I should say. This just means that I can get it in everywhere nicely. The good thing about this brush is I got this little cap. Boom! Okay, and it's gonna go in for a full alignment once this is all done. The one thing that I'm not fully sure on is how to actually get this part on here. Unless, does it mean that I have to take this? Ah, damn it. I think I need to take this all off to put the new cover on. Voila! That's it all done. As you can all see, and that's all done. It's measured up again. You have to take all this off, put this on, and then measure it up. So do that first. Let's try that again. Got the clip ready here. Now I'm not going to tighten this on just yet. I'll let them do that when they're actually aligning it. But that's the right length. And now I can actually put this on. I'm going to put on a little bit of Loctite on this end, because you definitely don't want anything over there getting loose. This bit with copper grease, it just helps when it comes to realigning in the future. If that bit's tight and this bit is tight, when they do all the alignment stuff and this gets compressed together, it shouldn't really ever have any problems with realignment in the future. So fingers crossed, that's a good little finished piece now. And yeah, so once I get some Loctite on there, fit this all back on, we'll be able to carry on with the other suspension parts. So one of the things that I'm gonna do now is actually take apart this little checklist. It looks things. Got a nice little sticker in here. I think my sister will probably want that put up somewhere. Let's see what we get. So we get a couple of the adjusters, the spanners. These are for the shock dampening basically. You get a nice little booklet with everything. So installation instructions. This is actually really nice. Not many products out there for coilovers come with such a nice the nice book. Prior to installation, blah 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 blah. I'm dyslexic, so pictures. Let's look at pictures. No. What? It's got a good little explanation of ride height adjustment. So okay, I'm gonna read through this, see what they actually say about setting up the coilovers, and we'll set them up over here. So what I'm actually doing right now is I'm looking to actually see first off where this coilover will sit in. So there's a little ridge just in through here. I think you can kind of see it there. So I got a feeling it's going to sit on top of that. Whereas with the old ones, you have this massive piece of shock that comes out at the bottom. That's not the case with the new ones. So I'm going to need to measure from this point upwards to make sure that the shocks are the right height, we're not going to go much lower than the actual stock one, maybe about half an inch. I think that's going to be a good ride height for the look that we're going for. I think the E65 Series M Sports do actually come a really good ride height, especially for UK roads. Before I do that, I'm actually going to clean up the inside here. Want it to be nice and fresh, so we're not going to have any issues with seizing shocks. Got the Dremel, little wire brush thing. Let's go. There we go. That looks very nice and fresh and clean. Gonna apply a thin layer of copper grease in here as well. Like I said, don't want this to seize up in there. But that is honestly, that's come out lovely. Got the coilover to the desired ride height. And now it's time to just line this up and put it in. So I'm gonna look at it from the top. Kind of bolted in, but what I've realized, there's no actual points for these to be locked into, so it's kind of just easy to roll around. So it's really awkward to record at the same time, but yeah, so I gotta look into seeing what I'm gonna do there. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier is the fact that the preload is already preset. It says in the book, so I'm not going to touch anything to do with the preload, just focusing on ride height. So I think I've got the right height, the right ride height, written it down, so both sides of the front are going to be the same. So yeah, we're going to carry on with the rest of the installation now. Well, as part of the rebuild, I've actually gone and gotten some new nut and bolts from BMW, the ones that were basically no-goes. These were the ones that broke off into little pieces. Do I have? Well, some of them I had to chop up, etc. But yeah, you guys have all seen that. So these ones, I'm just getting them all ready. Gonna prep everything to go onto the car. But ones like this that hold the bracket in place, you don't need to change them. Just give them a good clean. I've got the wire brush on the bench that I've just been able to clean these with. But yeah, that's basically what I'm up to right now. The way I'm going to be installing everything back on is first, obviously, the coilover. Then I'm going to put the hub on. Once the hub's in place, I think that's going to give me the right amount. Actually, no, wait. Let me change that. I don't know, actually. I don't know what way to go about this. Because the bushes are going to be really tight. So to actually put on the hub afterwards is going to be really tough. Because you're going to have to push things. Yeah, no, you know what? Tie rod arm. Then I'm going to put on the hub, and then I'm going to put on the other control arms afterwards. All that being said, let's just get everything lined up and into the right places. Everything else, you've seen me apply copper grease for anti-seize, but with this I'm just going to apply a little bit of thread lock. Not a crazy amount, but just enough that I won't have to worry about this later on. Right, that feels like it's really on there nice and tight. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the right tools to tighten this all up with. So I forgot to put this ring on, but it's all right. You can just tighten it up and bring it over. Just gonna tighten it up a little bit more once again, because this is definitely not something you wanna have come off loose. Great, up next, I'm gonna turn the wheel all the way in, get the other control arms actually lined up. I might actually clean up some of these surfaces with the Dremel real quick. So here we have the old and new front control arms. Actually no, sorry, the rear control arm for the front left. And let's have a look at this now. I did try cutting it up here because I was stuck with the bolt, so ignore that little bit of damage. But to be honest, that doesn't make a difference. Now, I'm not going to focus on this end of the ball joint, even though you can see just how loose that is. A lot of the rubber here was damaged by me when it came to the removal time. But if you look over here, you can see just how much the rubber has perished around the bearing, well, the insert just here. It's just, if you look at it from this point of view, you can kind of see it's got a bit of a lip happening. Now, if we compare that to the new one, you can see just how smooth that is arched in with the actual metal ring on the inside, the cylinder on the inside. So that's how it should look, and that's how it ended up looking. That's a nice little difference there. Again, with the front parts, not going to go into it too much, but you can start seeing how this rubber has just started to perish. And moving this thing around, it is really tight. In fact, I actually can't move it right now. That's how tight it is. Probably could do it with this part being bolted in, but I don't really care. Just shows just how secure and strong this is going to make it all feel. And yeah, so I think we're going to get this one bolted in first. This will probably never get changed again anyway, but just in case it does, we are now safely protected. So here is the other control arm, the front one, I guess I would say, for the front left. And we're not going to look at the bush too much. Well, actually, we probably can have a little bit of a look at it. Just take the new nut off. Ooh, that looks, again, obviously you can see that'll be brand new. But this one is just getting a little bit of wear and tear just over here. You can start seeing it. But if we look over here, that is where we can start seeing some problems coming through. This rubber has started to perish away there. That's going to obviously create some movement, especially with the weight of the car. Comparing that with the new one, you know, that's how it should be. So quick comparison between those two is these little bits and pieces combined together are going to make a big difference to the front end. Got the rear one on. Back bolt is not on fully tight just yet. We're going to get the front one on here now next. Just need to get the other bolt for that. The front one is a longer bolt than the rear one. What I'll do is put in the description below Real OEM, which is a website. Basically, everyone who works on the BMW should have access to it. It tells you all the bolt numbers and it shows you diagrams of how everything fits and stuff like that as well. Really good. I'll put a link for it in the description below so everyone can check it out. The part numbers on there, you go to BMW, you find what part you need on the website, and you just say to them, this is the part number that I need, can you please order it in for me? They do give some prices on there, but they're not always accurate. I think they're quite out of date, and especially I think it's in USD, or I'm pretty sure it's in USD, might be in euros. But yeah, you got factoring conversion and stuff, but I wouldn't look at the prices. Just call them up and see what your price is going to be when you give them a call. There we go. We got everything basically in the right places now. This means we're ready to actually put the hub back on. This part, well, if you were to do this changeover and put on stock suspension, you would have needed to put this in whilst also aligning up the hub and kind of latching it on up here. But I'm fortunate in the respect that this is a bit shorter, so we won't need to worry too much about this, but we still do need to align it up at the same time. I'm kind of a bit nervous when it comes to doing this because because I don't want to get this wrong at the moment. Can line that one up first. Oh my god, this is on here. Everything is so tight that really hard to line up at the moment. I'm not sure I'll be able to get the rear one on there just yet, but I can kind of deal with that later. This is so awkward. I have to keep battling with this a little bit. Alright, let's try this a different way. Put this back out. Success right now because I've managed to get the front left on, which is a big milestone for me. So let's have a quick look around. Let me get all my lights on. So I haven't done all the torques just yet, but that's everything bolted into place. I'm gonna just clean up a little bit as well once I'm doing everything. But yeah, that's the shock all there. Up next, gonna be looking at doing the brake discs, putting the new pads on and putting the housing in place. That's a big moment for me. I'm really happy to see that come on. It was a bit awkward, I'm not gonna even lie. I had to what I did was I first put the hub onto the shock, and then I started to put the arms on. I made sure the steering was on straight, and you basically just gotta muscle it all into the right places, move whatever you need to so you can get it all on. I got that one on first, and then the front one, and then the steering control arm was last. But just loosely put the bolts on. I have to say a big thank you to DeWalt. You know what? This tool saved my life a lot. When it came to putting on the bolts at the back, the bolts just over for the actual arms. Normally you'd have to put the Allen key and then tighten the bolts on. With that, just straight hit it with the gun, it's tightened itself on enough. I'm gonna find the torque spec in a bit and be able to tighten up everything that it needs to be tightened up to, but that just saved me so much time. Just a quick little thing I want to show you all is how I removed this bolt. I got the wrench on there, put a jack on the other end, jacked it up, it cracks it loose. That's literally it. Nice and simple. And then you can remove the jack out the way. And then I don't know if this is loose enough now to do just one-handed. I think it's completely loose now. There we go. Just remove this completely. So it's really good to say that we've managed to get the front end of the suspension, bushes and everything all done. That's basically it in that respect. I'm not going to really do anything else there. I'm going to do the brake discs and pads right at the end, just so then when they're on, they're as fresh as they can be. And yeah, it's going to give the best braking performance, I guess. Going to be looking at starting the rears in the next episode. So please do subscribe to see more from me. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Hit like if you found this video entertaining at all. Please subscribe to see more from me. And leave me a comment if I could have done anything differently or anything better. For now, I'll see you all later. Peace out. Catch you later.